Okay, let's go.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Jeffco Patriot Radio. It's just after high noon in the Heartland here at 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Tim Jones, former Speaker of your Missouri House, joined by my beautifully and talented co-host, Billy Crow.
Co-sponsor? We sponsoring bills now?
What are we sponsoring?
I don't know.
We should sponsor something. There should be a Tim Jones, Billy Crow law, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Call it Stop the Stupid. How's that?
I love it.
That would be far-ranging.
I think so.
The Supreme Court would have a problem with it, Billy, because it would have too many subjects in it, and they only like single subject rule, allegedly.
Well, it might actually outlaw them. So
it could indeed. Hey, thanks for joining us. Can you believe it, Billy? It is the middle of the month. We are smack dab in the middle of the month. Sunday, February the 15th. 2026 edition of Jeffco Patriot Radio. My, how the time is flying when we're having fun.
It is. And hey, it's the day after Valentine's Day. We're both here, so we both did good.
We survived.
We didn't get murdered in our sleep for missing Valentine's Day.
Billy, I always forget about Valentine's Day, and then I remember Valentine's Day. So the minute I remember Valentine's Day, thankfully this year I remembered it before Valentine's Day, then I just go out and do everything all at once, and I get it all set up.
That's right, yeah.
I did the card, I did the flowers, and I took my lovely wife Suzanne to dinner. So I did the trifecta, baby.
Well, you know what? When it comes to Valentine's Day, for me, I always struggle with what to choose for my wife. But when you go in,
she's got it all already. For you, I mean, come on.
But when you go into Walgreens at 11 o'clock the night before, there's only a few options left, so you don't have to make a lot of decisions.
It's like a ceramic frog or something. Yeah. Indeed. All right. We hope you survive Valentine's Day as well, and we're heading towards the second half of February. Lots going on. It is an election year here in the state of Missouri, and to keep ourselves focused, Billy, I decided we'll break down this first segment into 3 different mini segments. You're going to tell us about a bunch of stuff going on in Peevely. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened this week up at the State House in the Jefferson City Swamp. And then we're going to talk about some events occurring around the area. Let's get right to it. Oh, how about we also tell folks what we're doing later on the show? Billy, we're going to continue our Educating the Voter series, right? Yeah. We've got very important elections coming up. Local elections, April elections, right around the corner. And I believe today we're going to be speaking with 2 more individuals who are running for city council in the city of Festus.
That's right. We're going to have Rick Belleville on the second segment. He is running for Ward 4. And then in the third segment, we are going to have incumbent Bobby Venz, who is running for Ward 3.
Re-election in Ward 3. So we got Ward 3 and Ward 4 today here on Jeffco Patriot Radio. There we go, folks. That is the show today. Let's dive in because we've got lots to deliver to you. Let's start off with the great city of Peevely. Some very important things, Billy, that folks need to know that's going on in Peevely these days.
Yeah, if you care about city government and local government, Peevely's got some great opportunities. They've got some positions open. They're Director of Administration. Make sure you check out their website for that.
That's usually a very important, very high-paying job.
Right, especially when you talk about, what development looks like, what codes look like, things like that. They are very crucial to that. We've also got the code official position open as well. So again, codes and how things are being built. If you want to make sure that the city's being built well and you've got a good idea, go ahead and go down there and apply today. And the police department has 2 new fresh recruits right out of the academy that have signed up. So February 11th, they got 2 more police officers. They had a great ceremony for them. So you are 2 police officers safer there in Peevely.
Well, that's great, because in this era where a certain political philosophical orientation is continuing to want to defund law enforcement.
That's right.
They just switched the names from defund the police to defund ICE. Same thing. They want to defund law enforcement. They want to defund the people that are protecting and enforcing the laws of the state of Missouri and of the United States of America. It's great to see that we have young people who are still willing to swear an oath to defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America and the state of Missouri and protect and serve all of us. I couldn't think of a higher calling.
Absolutely. And you know what? You bring up the idea, the thought of defunding the police. And the next thing we're going to be talking about here is things going on in the State House. And there's one particular Senate bill that might inadvertently defund local police. So we've got Senate Bill 1239, which has been introduced by our Senator, Mary Elizabeth Coleman. Now, the thing that it does is it takes off sales tax for food in the state of Missouri, right? So we're not just talking groceries. We're talking if you go to the restaurants and stuff like that too. But one of the issues is it is actually going to negate local food sales tax. And so, particularly in the city of Arnold, they passed a sales tax on food and things like that, specifically to fund their police a couple years ago. So, while we all want less taxes, these local laws that are brought in by local municipalities that, it's not the state or federal government saying we're going to tax you and you're just going to send it to us. These affect the men and women in our communities, and it's voted on by the communities. This law may inadvertently hurt the police.
Yeah, the devil is nowhere more prevalent in the details than when we're talking about tax policy.
That's
when we're
right.
talking about tax reform. And I think we've discussed on many different programs that I personally am a big fan of the fair tax, which is a consumption-based tax, which means sales taxes. If you're going to eliminate the state income tax, I don't think you necessarily have to replace it entirely, because what you can also do is cut spending.
What?
Right? Yeah, it's crazy talk. But I'm also not an anarchist, right? I do believe in government. I'd like it as limited as possible, but there are very important things that government should actually do, like roads and bridges and public safety, which means law enforcement. Now, when you're talking about taxes on food, one of the things that this does come up all the time, by the way, in the fair tax model. What you can do is maybe remove the tax on the food necessities, right? Maybe like certain items up to a certain level in your grocery stores, but that doesn't mean that you remove taxes on things like Sody Pop and Twizzlers, or going out to a fancy restaurant.
That's right. Yeah.
We want the working poor and the poor to pay less taxes, and so maybe removing a tax on basic necessities of food. And you can figure, in today's digital age, you can make this work with an algorithm, right?
Yeah.
But to entirely remove taxes on all foods, especially at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, I don't know that that's necessarily a good idea.
Yeah, and it's been really incredible to see the outpouring of the mayors and the city administrators. Like, usually they can't get along at all, but they are all very
They found
upset.
something they liked.
They did. They did. Bill Mortz, the mayor of Arnold, let us know that that's like $4.5 million of their revenue. So that's 20% of their actual revenue gone. And for a little city like Crystal City, that's only $500,000, but that's still a huge portion of their budget.
All right. Well, that's Senate Bill 1239. We'll keep an eye on that. Back to some local stuff before we jump back into State House and then some other events. Billy, the state of the county, of Jefferson County, the state of the county address, the last one that will be delivered by current county executive Gannon, be tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
February 6th. And I'm going to be there with you.
You and Joe and Jeff from the station are going to be there. It's going to be an exciting time. Unfortunately, I don't get to sit with you guys. I'll be at the county councilman's table. So
as long as you make sure there's plenty of coffee and donuts, I'll be happy.
That's exactly right. We're pretty excited to see, what his Mr. Gannon's swan song will be here. And, hopefully it should be a good turnout. It's sold out. And we're pretty excited to see where he wants to take the county.
Because he'll be county executive for the rest of the year.
That's right. Yeah.
The rest of this entire calendar year. So
he's not planning on running for anything more, so he doesn't have to worry about re-election. He can only just focus on doing what's right.
Katie bar the door. Next board meeting will be on...
so for the city of Peevely, they've got their next board meeting on February the 16th. Even though that is a holiday, they are going to have their council meeting.
Tomorrow is President's Day.
That's right.
And then the MML Legislative Day is also coming up.
Yeah, so February 7th, which is the day after President's Day. So all of your municipality officials, your mayors, your city councilmen, your city administrators, they're going to go up to Jeff City and they're going to talk with folks in Jeff City about things that the state is doing that affects them and vice versa. And of course, obviously, they're going to be talking about this Senate bill we've been talking about. So,
indeed. Just to recap, Peevely's got a lot of great opportunities. If you or you know someone looking for a great career in public service, in city government, you can just go to the City of Peevely's website. They got that Director of Administration position open, the Code Official Administration open. We're celebrating the fact they've got 2 new police recruits. The state of the county on the Jefferson County level, state of the county tomorrow, February 16th. The next board meeting for Peevely is also February 16th. In the evening? Is that in the evening?
Yes, in the evening.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then MML Legislative Day, February 17th. Billy, another big thing that happened at the state level, speaking of taxes, there was a big rally up at the Capitol. It was called the Road to Zero Rally, sponsored by our friends at Americans for Prosperity in Missouri, and a great local grassroots group, a true grassroots group that was started literally out of nothing by a couple guys I know, Dennis Ganal and Niles Stevens from the St. Louis County area. They started a group called Mo Tax Relief Now. They were the ones behind the senior citizen property tax freeze.
Okay, yeah. Getting real stuff done.
Yeah, true lobbyists, unpaid, by the way, volunteer lobbyists for the people. Isn't that a novel
incredible
concept?
Right?
So they participated in this concept, in this rally for this concept that Governor Keogh has talked about, which is going to the people this year with a legislatively draft ballot question as to whether or not we should modernize and reform our entire state of Missouri tax code with an eye towards eliminating the income tax.
Right.
So that was the event that happened up at the Capitol this week. It was very successful, and those discussions around that plan, what to exempt, what not to exempt, as we just talked about, are very much part of that. There is a bill, so if folks are interested in this, there is a bill that is pending in the House. It is actually sponsored by the Speaker of the House. They had a hearing on it a couple weeks ago. They're working on what's called a House Committee substitute because they got a lot of ideas at the hearing as to how to make the bill hopefully better. And eventually it will be unveiled. And then my prediction is the House is going to move that forward and probably vote it out to the Senate for consideration before spring break, which you're not going to believe this. Spring break for the Missouri legislative session is 4 weeks away.
I thought we just started.
4 weeks. It does feel like we just started. Yeah. We're going to make a road trip again, right? Jeffco Patriot Radio?
Yes.
You know there's a big sign in Studio Shore that says Jeffco Patriot Radio, which we can flip out onto the new studio background up there, and we could broadcast from there, and it would look like we own the place.
Yeah, well, we do.
Indeed. Okay, let's see. We talked about that and that. Oh, events. We got a couple minutes left before our first break. We've got, as always, there's a lot going on in Jefferson County. Billy, how about you start running down the events that we got coming up over the next few weeks and months?
Yeah, we'll start in DeSoto. We got the DeSoto Rotary's all-you-can-eat breakfast, pancake breakfast, and it's going to be hosted by, obviously, the DeSoto Rotary. That's going to be Saturday, March 7th, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's going to be at the DeSoto Senior High School Cafeteria on AmVets Drive. All-you-can-eat pancakes, biscuits, and gravy, $8 for adults. Children are free when accompanied by an adult. 12 and under, and they've got 12 and under. They've got a free scooter drawing, so you might walk out with a winner there. That's going to be an exciting time. Anytime you can go to those events, and I'm sure that lots of the city councilmen will be there. I'm sure that some of the legislators will be there. It'll be a great time.
Who doesn't love pancakes?
Right now. Here's another one that's pretty incredible. DeSoto is like nailing it with the food right now. They're going to have their 5th annual DeSoto Chocolate Walk.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be Saturday, February 28th, so a little bit sooner, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that's hosted by the participating businesses that you'll see down on the main street. They're going to have free chocolate treats to give away while you're shopping. No purchase necessary. It's just an idea to help local businesses on DeSoto Main Street. Then we have Crystal City. They're going to have a trivia night.
Very popular this time of year when we can't do much outside.
Right. Well, exactly. So it's a trivia night for the thing we do outside, which is the farmers market.
Excellent.
We're trying to raise money for the farmers market.
Excellent.
That'll also be on Saturday, February 28th. The doors open there at 5:30. So here's what you do, guys. You go walk down DeSoto Main Street, get all chocolated up with all that excited energy, and you go down to Crystal City, and you go to this trivia night. The doors open at 5:30. Trivia begins at 6. It's going to be at the Festus KC Hall there in Festus. Themes are going to be movies, music, TV, and pop cultures. $25 a person or $200 for a 8-person table. Prizes include first and last place, 50-50, best dressed team, best decorated table. Sponsorships available, and you can go to farmersmarketcrystalcity@gmail.com for more information.
Fantastic. Trivia nights are a ton of fun. We recently, News Talk STL, we got a team together and we participated in Senator Nick Schroer's annual trivia night. And I think we were robbed. We came in second place. So I think there was some ringer, some state championship ringer team there or something. No, we had a great time. We came in a close second. We were only 3 points back. It was 80s, 90s trivia.
Yeah.
So you would have done. We did well. You would have done well because we talk about music and movies and culture in the 80s and the 90s. It was a ton of fun. So yeah, trivia nights are great, and I would urge you all to check out the trivia night hosted by the Crystal City Farmers Market, Saturday, February 28th. Man, lots going on in Jeff County, as always. When we come back, Billy, remind our listeners who we're going to speak with regarding their quest to serve the public.
Yeah, we're going to be talking with Festus City Council Ward 4 candidate Rick Belleville about his run for the city council.
We'll be talking data centers and more, because there's lots going on in Jefferson County and in the city of Festus. And then in our third segment, we will be speaking with Bobby Venz, who's an incumbent in Ward 3 running for re-election. Continue to bring the candidates directly to you. Thanks for listening so much to Jeffco Patriot Radio at 1019 94.1. This is News Talk STL. Welcome back to Jeffco Patriot Radio. It is Sunday, February the 15th, believe it or not. Thanks for listening, 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. And we always want to direct you to the fact that we have a lot of different ways for you to listen to this show, to re-listen to this show if you missed it, to catch it in a lot of different formats. You should download the News Talk STL app. Yep, that turns your phone into a radio. News Talk STL app has everything about the station, all of our programming Monday through Friday, where you can listen to Chris Harps and myself every afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. All of our other great shows, all of our great weekend shows, the podcast, and so much more. NewsTalkSTL.com is a great location to go to as well for everything about the station. I'm Tim Jones, former Speaker of your Missouri House. Got Billy Crow with me as well, my beautiful and talented co-host. He is, of course, representing the 2nd County Council District of the great county of Jefferson. And he brought me a gift today. I just want to mention this. Thank you so much, Billy. So I'm a big fan of Calvin Coolidge, Silent Cal, and Billy and I are going to start a book club. So I don't know what that means, but I don't know if he's going to be calling me every night, asking me if I've gotten through chapter 7 or not. But and I've got a little gift for Billy. I have a copy of the Coolidge Review for him. So Billy, I was telling you, there's a lot of, history doesn't necessarily repeat, but it does echo.
Right.
And I was telling you about the comparisons between the 1920s and 30s and what we're going through now with a lot of the same exact debates about debt and deficits and tariffs and taxes and all that. And Silent Cal, I'm telling you, maybe only second to Ronald Reagan, was one of the most frugal, small C conservative presidents we've had. And he was also ahead of his times. He was progressive, and not in the bad sense, but in the good sense that he believed every American, he was a big member of the suffragist movement. He was very much a civil rights kind of a guy, a little bit ahead of his time on that, and he was a Republican, so he's a good guy.
A guy that really knew what it meant, that less is more. That's
truly indeed. All right, we're going to continue our weekly looks at all of the local races, local elections, local races. Always participate, Billy, right? In every opportunity you have to participate in government.
Yeah, I mean, these are the ones that we can actually affect the fastest, and also can have the harshest effects on us and our neighbors the fastest as well.
Let's bring in Rick. Is it Belleville or Belleville?
Belleville,
just like the town, just across the river.
Like the town. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Rick Belleville, he is running for Ward 4 in the city of Festus. Rick, first thing we'd love to have you do is introduce yourself to our audience. Right. Give us the Cliff Notes version of who Rick Belleville is and why the heck he bumped his head and decided to run for public office.
First of all, I want to thank Billy for his service to our county. And I want to thank you for your previous service to your county.
Thank you very much.
It's not an easy job to go to the county and fight for what you've had to fight for, and I think you should be recognized for what you've done for us.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
So my name is, I just did what I wasn't supposed to. My name is Rick Belleville. I live in Festus. My family moved to Festus in 1961. We lived in Danby, which was a little bit south of Festus, and so I went all 12 years to Festus High School, graduated in 1973. I went to SEMO, where I earned 2 bachelor degrees and an associate degree. And then later, I went to Webster University, where I got my master's.
Excellent. In what? What was your master's in?
My master's is in healthcare administration.
Oh, okay. Very good.
All right.
Hot topic these days.
Yes.
Indeed.
So after, just real quick, after college, I worked in the chemical industry, chemical manufacturing, and I became a national sales manager for that. Did that for a few years. Then my mid to late 30s, I pivoted and went into healthcare. That's when I got my master's, and I served as a controller, a director, an administrator, later a consultant, and then I also taught as an adjunct professor at Columbia College on the East Coast.
Oh, man, excellent. A lot there. So, as a first-time candidate, what motivated you to step into this race?
So here's the thing. I never intended to be a politician. I grew up on Roland Court in Festus. So on one side of my house was the Englers. And you folks know Kevin Engler. So
Yes, sir.
Kevin English served in the Senate and House of Representatives.
Yes, he did.
On the other side of my house was the late and great Ken Waller.
Oh, my goodness.
And so it's
You're like an Oreo.
it's kind of like, well, maybe I was supposed to. So I didn't want to jump into this, but a lot of people in my neighborhood, I live in Ward 4, which is closest to where this proposed data center is supposed to go. A lot of people in my neighborhood said, we're not being represented. We have some concerns, and we want to have a discussion. So I'm on the planning and zoning. I've lived in Festus at this house for 18 years now. I've served as a election judge supervisor. I had served also on a board of the National Kitchen and Bath Association as a board member for 5 years, and served as a board member down at Lake Perry. And part of my work down at Lake Perry as a board member, I'm on what's called a stream team. So last year was stream team, a Missouri stream team. We look at all the waters and the creeks and stuff like that. And I had no idea how our aquifer system was doing. And so in communicating with Missouri Conservation, Missouri Department of Natural Resources, I became aware that our aquifer is kind of at a risk. And so my biggest concern with the data centers is, okay, yes, they're going to use a lot of water. They may not use as much as we think. But in talking with Chris McKee, we had planning zonings. We had an opportunity to go up and meet with him.
Right.
So meeting with him, I found out that they're estimating maybe 400,000 gallons of million gallons of water a day, something like that. And we had estimated 600,000 in our surplus. So that sounds like it's doable, but then what happens for the second and third and fourth? So we've got about 500 trillion estimated gallons in the Missouri aquifer. If you run 4 data centers and small conservative for 15 years, and Chris says the lifespan of these data centers is about 15 years, you're going to drop the aquifer by 100 trillion gallons. And how do we recover from that? Well, a lot of the water in the data centers is going to go through evaporation, or some of it's going to be recycled. So there's a big concern that that's going to permanently affect our ecosystem in Missouri.
So you're currently serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission?
I am.
And how long have you been doing
So Mayor Richards lives in my subdivision. And so we had a subdivision meeting in the spring of last year, and I talked to him about being on planning and zoning. So I filled out an application and joined. And that was probably, so I've been there about a year, something like that.
So tell us your thoughts about data centers in general, and then we can kind of drill down into the specific project, and then we can hopefully get to some other items as well.
So the data center, when they brought data center to us in October, I think the discussion was going to have a meeting on November 20th. I really didn't know what they were talking about. They said that, we're going to put some regulations into effect that's going to help the city of Festus, so that if these data centers come forward, then we'll have some protection for the citizens. So, but it went so fast, and we didn't have an opportunity to really get the people's questions answered. We didn't have a Q&A or an open house. So this whole thing started on July 25th. I think it was July 25th, when the president made an announcement that we're going to have a data center incentive, and we need to find locations. And so Chris McKee from CRG, Clayco, started making phone calls. We have a 345 kilovolt line that runs through Jefferson County, goes from south of Festus all the way up to about Fenton. So that's the ideal location for them to put the data centers in. And there's concerns about, and Jefferson County is doing this now. I've been out to some of the meetings on Wednesday, and they're talking about, what kind of guidelines we can put in place that's going to help people be happy with bringing this in development to our county and bring revenue to our county. But there's so many unanswered questions that people are just like, slow down. We need to have a better understanding of what this animal is going to be. And so my thing is, well, we have other opportunities for our development. We have 55 just been recently developed into a 3-lane and interchange going down 67. And that portion of CC Highway and 67, that looks like it's going to be developed into maybe some commercial realty. So, maybe we could bring in a Costco and a Target development. Well, maybe our location would be a good location for the next Bass Pro Shop. So there's other opportunities that we could look at the same time, and maybe slow down the data center and get everybody to answer questions taken care of.
So, what do you think is the number one question that residents have that didn't get answered?
The number one question is, how is that going to affect my budget? So there's SB 4 that was put in place. There's now...
we'll just, for our listeners, Senate Bill 4,
right,
which was passed on the state level last year.
And so then now they're discussing the GRID Act, and these are supposed to help protect the residential people from spikes in their electric. Well, we recently had a 12% price increase on our electric with Ameren, and they published that they believe they really wanted 15. They published that by 2028, they think they're going to have another 15% price increase. So when you look at a city like Festus, we have about 12% of our population is at poverty level. No, 17%. 17% of our population is at poverty level, and 12% are at half poverty level. And when you look at those folks and say, hey, we're going to have a 15% price increase in a couple of years, those people are at risk. And so it's going to affect them the most. And our water sewer system was sold to Jefferson County a few years ago, and everybody's telling me my sewer bill's getting to be crazy, and now we're looking at hiking our electric bill, and everybody's getting scared.
So are you as to data center development in general, are you a heck no, no way, no how, no where kind of guy, or are you of the persuasion where if we take our time on this and perhaps put the right regulatory frameworks in place, then maybe you would be supportive of it if your questions were answered?
Well, right now, in my opinion, based on the people I represent, is that no, right now we need to put a halt on the data center until we get more information. It would be great if we could put a 1-year moratorium on it. I've got 12 issues that I'm discussing with the people in my community, and they are important issues also, but the data center is just the one that's come to the forefront. So at the recent council meeting, some folks had done a collection of signatures. You probably saw that in the paper. 1,400 signatures. We have about 8,500 registered voters in Festus. And so the population, according to the mayor, he said our population is about 14,500. So we have about 60% of our population as registered voters. That collection of 1,400 signatures represents about 17% of all registered voters. Those folks don't feel like they're being listened to. They feel like they're being disenfranchised because they have concerns. A lot of people in Ward 4 are the property down by where this data center was annexed into the city. And I was all for annexing the city because anytime someone voluntarily wants to become part of the city, it's usually approved. Now, immediately changing it to industrial, we don't have a designation in Festus of light industrial or heavy industrial, and we didn't have a road study to see how that was going to affect our current roads. We didn't have any kind of a environmental look. There's a creek that runs through there. So there's some things that we should have done when this first came up and the conversation started on a one-on-one in August. There could have been a Facebook posting. There could have been a online community discussion. There could have been things done differently that would have brought people into the conversation, and maybe we'd all have a better understanding and there wouldn't be this outrage. There's been very uncomfortable level at our town city hall meetings, very uncomfortable, and that's not right.
Rick, I know you have a whole other list of public priorities you'd like to get to. We're out of time for today, so maybe we'll have to have you back.
All right.
But if folks would like to read about all of your positions on all issues, where would you direct them to? Facebook page, website, what do you got going?
So here's what we got. We've got a website that is rick4ward4.com. We have a Gmail account that's rick4@ward4@gmail.com. And we have an Instagram account. And guess what it is, Billy?
I bet it's Rick 4, Ward 4.
Yes, it is.
Using the numbers. Rick 4, the number 4, Rick 4, Ward 4.
Yes.
You can find that at Gmail. You can find that on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. All right. Well,
so we're trying to keep up with that. We're trying to post relevant information. People can ask me questions, and we will do our very best to get back with you. One thing that we have a thing that we set up called a Coffee with the Candidate. So every Wednesday, I'm down at the Micro Bakery, and we have Coffee with the Candidate, and that's on my Facebook wall page.
Well, good luck with your campaign. Thank you for volunteering and for offering to do continuing service to the public. Rick, thanks for joining us today.
And thank you, too, for allowing me to have some time with you.
Absolutely. All right, Billy. Well, as usual, fastest 15 minutes in radio when you start talking to people running for office. We got one more who we're going to speak with next. He is the incumbent running for re-election in Ward 3 of the city of Festus. We'll speak to Bobby Venz next on Jeffco Patriot Radio, 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, Jeffco, this is Jim Avery from Avery Injury Law. We're personal injury attorneys that specialize in car wrecks, dog bites, semi-truck crashes, or really anything that happens that's not your fault that results in an injury. At Avery Injury Law, you can trust us to help you when you have to fight with the insurance companies. Don't battle them alone. Choose your friend, Jim Avery from Avery Injury Law. I'm not afraid of insurance companies. Let me fight them for you. Contact us at 314-549-5600 or averyinjurylaw.com.
Welcome back to the third and final segment of this Sunday's Jeffco Patriot Radio. Thanks for listening to us, 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Well, Billy, we got one final person to speak with today, but we will continue to present as many candidates as we can wrangle in here, as we can herd the cats over the next 6 or 7 weeks or so before the all-important elections in April.
That's right. Hey, and actually, real quick, some folks are out there are nervous and don't want to come in. Mr. Venz, will you tell everyone, is this painful?
Oh, no.
All right.
Billy and I don't bite too hard.
Not too hard.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that is our guest, Bobby Venz. He is the incumbent councilman or I guess alderman, technically, or is it councilman or alderman? Councilman, okay.
Councilman, okay.
In Ward 3 in Festus. Now, like I said, you are the incumbent. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your time on the city council so far.
My name is Bobby Venz. I've lived in Festus my whole life, except for the short time I was in the Army. And I came back, and I've been with the same fuel company for 38 plus years. I was introduced into politics by some group of people that didn't think everyone was listening to them on Ward 3. And so I took a shot at it and ran and ended up winning. So it's never been about myself, or it's to do what's best for Ward 3 for one thing, and what's best for the city. I hope I do. I always felt like I hope I do my best on that, but that's here to say.
How many terms have you served thus far on the city council?
I've been 20 years, ever since 2005.
Okay, wow. Very good. So you're like the grizzled old veteran on the city council at this point.
Yeah, myself and Kevin Dennis are.
Well, Bobby, let's dispense with the proverbial elephant in the room. We've been talking lots about data centers. Hopefully we'll get to some other items with you as well. But data centers, what does Bobby Venz think about data centers and the specific project that's been discussed for the last several weeks and months in the city of Festus?
Well, when it first came approached to me in the summer, and we listened to their pitch and everything, I didn't see the downside of it. And especially after I went and toured one and seen it, it's just 4 buildings. 2 of them's got computers in it, and it's a beautiful building. Landscape's great. I mean, it's clean as possible, and I didn't see the downside of it. I'm not no technical person here to say my kids and grandkids. So that's why I'm pretty much in favor of the future. And so, but then as we started learning more things and people started saying all kinds of bad things about it, I looked into it a little bit more, and I still don't see the downside, but I'm just one person.
So, you talk about the fact that you came into office because there's a bunch of people that didn't feel like they were being represented. And right now we've got they had that petition with, again, a bunch of people saying they don't feel represented. How do you feel your interactions have been with your constituents when it's come to the issue of data centers?
Well, just like anything else, people say you're not listening, but at the same time, the ones that are in favor of it, I'm listening to them. So I try to listen to both sides and hear both sides of the story. But like I said, I personally don't see anything hurting. My personal opinion, what doesn't hurt anybody? Smoking, secondhand smoke, anything nowadays. I mean, I just don't see the data center being that big of an issue. In my personal opinion, when you see it built, after a year or two, you're not even going to probably know it's there unless you just happen to go over there. It's like anything else. And so I'm just hoping people understand, learn about it, learn the truth about it, not the negative, learn about it like I've had to do.
Now,
Are you receiving information about the water and the concerns, electricity concerns?
Yes, as far as the electric and the water, when I looked at the last one in Nebraska, that was over 10 years old, and the new technology they're coming out with, which will still be 5+ years before Festus would see it, it's supposed to be so much better in solar power. The water usage, the electric is nothing going to be like what they're saying. And that's what I mean. If people would look into it like I've had to do, I think they would see a different side of this, but I don't know what else really to tell people except do your homework like I've had to do.
now you've been on the city council. You've been in the budget battles and talking about cuts and stuff like that. You know, one of the big things that the proponents are talking about this, or what this means financially for a community, the amount of tax dollars and revenue and stuff like that. Mr. Belleville talked about with the added with Ameren's bills going up unrelated to data centers, that, you know, the poor in the community are at risk. But, you know, the amount of tax benefit that can come from this, what would that do for the people?
Well, as far as the electric bills going up, Ameren went with us to this meeting, and what the bills are going up right now, and like anybody else's area, you have to catch up with inflation. You got to also catch up with the times, the electric grid and all that all has to be upgraded. Everything has to be upgraded. That's just, we're all going to be paying for it. That has nothing to do with the data center that's coming. And they already told us when this data center shows up, it will not affect our bills at all. That's all going to be taken care of by the data center. And this data center that's going to be an annual of $6 billion, the city, the schools, the fire, parks, roads, everybody is going to benefit from this. And that's what we have to look at. And that's what the big picture is we're hoping this will solve a lot of problems and help everyone in the town.
How has Festus, since you've got quite a bit of institutional knowledge as far as the city over several decades, how has Festus changed over the last few decades, and where would you like to see Festus in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's progressed really good. I mean, from the time when I came on it, budgets were really tight, and there was times where we couldn't give a raise. And when the economy finally turned around, and we unfortunately had to sell the airport, and then we had COVID, but things have turned around for the best, and we have a surplus now of a pretty good money in the city. And with this data center coming, I look for a lot of great things happening, and there should be that I can no more tax increases of anything with that kind of money coming to the city. I can't say that 100%, but I would think so.
So we're talking about economic development with the data centers, you know, you've been there again for a while. I'm sure, you know, I grew up in Festus, so to see the way it's boomed, how do you handle or think through the idea of economic growth versus what I hear a lot on the county level is keeping the rural character of our community?
Right. And I know people, I have a neighbor, unfortunately he passed away, him and his wife, but they moved down this area not hoping that it would grow. Well, should have moved farther south or west or somewhere. But Festus is a growing town. And in order to prosper, you have to grow. And the opportunities that come to Festus, you don't want to pass up, especially something like this. Yes, we'd love to see a Costco, Sam's, and some more restaurants, especially with the highway coming and the other things going on. We got the new hotel coming. It's only going to get better and better. I know it's going to get crowded and busier, but the city of Festus is really going to outshine in the years to come.
Yeah, I mean, you're on an interstate highway and you're 30 minutes from, I think you're about 30 minutes or so from the border of the city of St. Louis. So all of those suburban bedroom communities eventually become communities of their own, right?
Right. And with the James Hardy coming in Crystal, I look at Festus, Crystal, Herculaneum, and Peevely. We're all 4 cities right together. And anything that can come will benefit all 4 cities.
Kind of a metroplex.
Metro, yes. Yeah. And even, I know the Hillsboro's farther west than DeSoto, but still, we're all close enough, but yet far enough away from St. Louis that anything big that happens in Festus will help. And it's going to draw people up there for jobs. The union jobs, it's just going to really prosper. Jobs for who knows how many years is going to be out of this world. And that's what people are looking for. Good, solid jobs.
So, sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh, so this is obviously a very contentious issue. And like Tim said earlier, there's things like this that come, they go, and they seem like the end of the world at the time. You said you've been around 20 years. Have you seen anything like this in your time where you've had to make very hard decisions that may not have been popular?
Oh, this is probably about the biggest thing. Yeah. And we got bad mouth when we sold the little airport that was in Festus for all these years. Yeah. But unfortunately, nobody wanted to help put money toward that airport. Mm-hmm. I hated to see it go myself. Mm-hmm. My dad got a license from that airport when he was younger. He worked for Ameren for 40 years. He was in the Air Force and stuff. And so, I flew out of there with some different people. I hated to see that go, but at the same time, it never could grow big enough to make it worthwhile. So we had to sell it. But other than that, no, this is probably the biggest thing right now. That's probably going to be the biggest issue for a while, unless we end up getting something good news from other vendors that want to come to Festus.
I'll have to tell you my Eureka lavender farm story sometime. Have I told you that story?
Just last week.
You wouldn't think a lavender farm would bring out pitchforks and torches, but when I was on the city council there before I ran for state representative, it did. Although it actually turned out to be one of the most beloved things down the road. It's kind of funny how people's attitudes can kind of change when they actually see something in practice. Well, I want to ask you about the airport. I'm not a pilot, but I'm a huge fan of general aviation because I have a couple friends who are licensed pilots, and I've been blessed to fly with them in some smaller general aviation aircraft. And I've seen what a properly run airport that is in the right place can do for a community. Any chance that they might bring back an airport into Jefferson County or anywhere in and around Festus? Is that talked about? Is there a little regret on that?
There is talk, but I can't say much more than that.
Okay.
Especially where it wants to go, but it won't be in Festus.
Okay.
But there is talk because you figure you have to go down to Farmington or up Spirit of St. Louis.
You need a piece of flat land.
Yes.
That's hard to come by in Jefferson County.
Premium in Jefferson County. Yeah.
And you have to have at least a 5,000 foot runway.
Yes. In today's world, in order to make it successful, you probably do.
That's what hurt is they said back in the day, when the landfill came out there, that killed it. If it wouldn't have been for that landfill, then possibility it could have grew.
Okay.
But that landfill does not mix with agricultural or the animals and everything else.
I was just curious, so thanks for
yeah. I hated to have to be one of the persons that had to say it to sell it, but unfortunately,
it made sense at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we got a couple minutes left here. 1 or 2 things you want to leave the folks with, and how can people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me on my cell number or bvenz64@yahoo.com. That's my personal email. Everybody has it. And you can call me on my phone at 636-208-5242. It's public knowledge. I don't keep nothing from anybody. I'm available anytime to talk, especially after working hours. But I'll do my best to get back with you. Other than that,
well, thank you very much, Bobby. Thank you for your service to our nation. Thank you for continuing to serve your local community. We wish you all the best in your bid for re-election, and thanks for coming in and speaking with us today.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you as well. It's Bobby Venz. He's running for re-election in Ward 3 in the city of Festus. Well, Bill, we got about a minute left. Closing thoughts on your part?
Well, I mean, it is interesting, what Mr. Venz said there of like, if you agree, if you're the councilman, I feel this, right? If you agree with what the constituent says, you're listening to them. If you disagree, you're not listening to them. And sometimes it's hard to cross those lines.
It's a tough job. It's why not everybody does it. We do not have direct democracy, thank God, at most levels in this country. We are a representative republic, and that means that if you sign up to serve and be one of those representatives, then you often have tough choices to make, as all of the public servants and politicians who have come before us have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope you've enjoyed these conversations today with the folks who will be making important decisions about the future of not only the city of Festus, but of the county of Jefferson writ large. Billy, maybe Bobby, maybe he wants to come back. Yeah, Billy and I will definitely be back next Sunday at high noon in the Heartland here on Jeffco Patriot Radio, 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Next up, St. Charles Patriot Radio.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the News Talk STL app.
Anywhere.